a distance, the step of a systematic review look pretty basics. To answer a question or a series of questions, you just gather all the information that exists, filter out the information that doesn't apply to your question, then combine it all together into a report about existing evidence and research gaps. But let's take a closer look. Systematic reviews follows a rigorous scientific process. It takes more than a few steps to comprehensively gather, combine, and evaluate existing evidence. First, make sure you are asking your question in the right way. It's possible your questions are too broad. So many people have tried to answer the question in so many ways that you will never gather all the evidence, or maybe your questions are too narrow and there is no research or not enough research to synthesize. That's why the first step of a systematic review is prepare your topic. Take a quick look at the available evidence to make sure there's enough research to address your question, then craft a question that's clear and specific enough to help you decide what kind of studies should and should not be included in your research. Once you have prepared your topic, you go on to step 2, search for studies. Of course, you will go to electronic databases to find published articles related to your question, but to find all the evidence related to your questions, you might to look in some non-conventional places. Once you have searched everywhere for evidence, you can move on to step 3. Screen your studies. In this step, you take a careful look at what you have gathered, removing evidence that doesn't answer your question or has research methods you want to avoid. Once you have separated out all the evidence, it's time for step 4. Extract the data that take evidence that left and pull out the information that will help you answer your question. Once the data has been extracted, you will need to carefully combine and analyze that you have found. This is step 5. Analyze and synthesize your evidence. If you are conducting meta-analysis, this is where you will use statistical tools to combine your data. You also look at your study to evaluate the quality of the research and check the bias. Once everything is prepared, you will combine all your evidence together to summarize your research and address your question. Now you are ready for the last step, report your findings. Once you have decided what the evidence has to say about your question, turn your conclusions into a report that describes the step you took and what you discovered, then share with anyone who cares about your question. Want to